Good morning. Good morning. It is 2 after the top of the hour. 2 after the top of the hour. I am back. It is Saturday, March 20th, 2021. This calendar is running by real fast around here. Spring break for some of you all. Some of your kids are going on spring break. You may be on spring break. So a lot of you all are probably on the roads. Just use this time to rest. Whatever you're going to do, thank you for spending it with us. We took off last week, had some stuff we had to do, but we are back. And of course, as you can see, we have plenty of stuff to talk about around here. There's never a shortage of that. So let's jump right into it. First, let's do our disclaimers as we always do when we get on the radio. Number one, we are not perfect, and neither are you. We're not going to come off acting like we know everything, and we don't want you coming off as you know everything. Number two, we know that nobody has all the facts, stats, or information, all the studies, all the research. Just like you can find research to support your argument, I can find research to support my argument. So spare me the not all, the whole, well, my cousin knows something about it, or what I heard, or my situation's different. We all know there are exceptions to each and every rule. And last but not least, we take stance around here. You want to tell me where you stand at? I want you to tell me where you stand at. That's how we operate. Not just talking in circles, not just him and hawing. We're not politicians. What is your take on the issue? Add something to the conversation. Now that we just hit those disclaimers, let's jump right into it. You know, we have Patrick Kennedy warns against the push to legalize and commercialize cannabis, cites plague of addictions. Now, I knew this argument was going to come up. And man, you probably knew this argument was going to come up, given that you're starting to see a lot more CBD-based food, a lot more CBD-based oils and products and things, and how people are using that to help with various elements they have in their bodies and in their health. And we're entering a holistic era now, where people want more holistic solutions about things, where there's holistic solutions about their health, about criminal justice, about how things operate. We're thinking more holistic now. The stuff that worked in the past, nobody's really focused on anymore. So we want things that are natural. So people are saying, hey, I want to take care of my health, but I don't want to take all these pills. I want to take care of my health, but I don't want to do all this. So people are looking at herbs. So you probably have people talk about psyllium husk, sage. You have people that have those old home remedies. You probably name it. You probably had taken some of those home remedies before. You got folks from the islands, you got folks from the country, you got the old timers. Everybody got those little natural remedies there. Either taste terrible or they look ugly, but it does the trick. So that's what brings us into marijuana and CBD. That's becoming more mainstream now. And I've always said, once the government figures out how they can make money off of this, you're going to see them try to get some stuff going with it. And now here we are. Now we got Patrick Kennedy, former U.S. Congressman, talking about, well, I feel this is going to be a new plague of addiction. But you had no problem with plagues of addiction with cigarettes, with alcohol, and these are things that we've known for years that have caused cancer. Let's talk about cigarettes for a minute. You remember how we used to call Marlboros cowboy killers, and we call Newports hood-dude killers? Nobody cared then, did they? You saw all these ads of cigarettes around here. I remember, I'm an 80s baby, in the 90s team. So where I remember seeing the Joe Camel ads, I remember seeing the Newport ads. I remember opening up magazines and you saw a lot of cigarette ads in those magazines. And it showed people having fun, people holding cigarettes. You saw a lot of old cartoons with cigarette characters smoking and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a smoker. I'm not condoning smoking. But here's the point I'm making. We're now looking at something that's more natural, and now we're looking at okay, but. And there's going to be a lot of research about this. I'm not talking about this from a medical angle or a holistic healing angle. I'm sure if we brought those people around here, they would have a great, robust debate on how we will get around this issue. But what I'm talking about is people should have a choice. Because when people can't get to what they need or what they want, then guess what they're going to do? They're going to go to the black market. They're going to go to the underground sources. They're going to go to other extremes to get what they need. You remember the whole back alley abortion argument that used to happen years ago when places had banned abortions and people was going to go figure out ways of how to get it? You remember the prohibition era of U.S. history when we tried to ban alcohol and people started looking at other ways to get it? people are getting ways to get this stuff now. And sometimes this stuff is not the most healthy or the most sanctified way of getting it. But we have to look at if there's some data out there that say this is going to help people, why are we hemming and hawing about getting it done? Because remember I told you a couple of weeks ago, and you knew this already, that a lot of these cities and counties were already looking at how to decriminalize marijuana possession because they said we are filling up our jails, backing up our courts with low-level drug charges. We're not talking about kingpins here. We're not talking about somebody with kilos and dope in their cars or what have you. We're talking about somebody with just like a joint on them or two, or maybe a dime bag, just things like that. And say, okay, this should be more of a civil charge. Because the libertarians have always argued from the standpoint that drug use is a victimless crime. Because you can't be a victim if you're doing this to yourself. Like if you choose to smoke cigarettes, a pack a week, or a pack a day that some people smoke, or you choose to drink like a sailor, you know, who are you hurting with this? Again, I'm not a drinker either, but I'm not going to enforce my will on you. Because this is one thing that I used to get on the Christian Coalition about back in the day. You know, you all want to impose your will on other people of what they should be doing. If you don't want an abortion, then you don't get an abortion. If you don't want to drink, then you don't drink. If you don't want to smoke, then you don't smoke. But I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. My only thing that I've always said time after time is do not stick me, aka John Q. Taxpayer, with the bill. Because when you stick me with the bill, then I have a big problem with it. Because you want to use my resources to fix the problem that you created for yourself. It goes back to the old argument of if you want to be an adult, okay, cool. Accept adult responsibilities. Don't get mad when it backfires. You chose to do this, just like, you know, the old saying goes from your parents used to say, when you want to be grown and you want to move out, guess what? Moving out's expensive. You got to pay your rent, you got to pay your mortgage, you got to pay your utilities, you got to pay your upkeep, you got that car, you know, all this stuff that y'all said y'all want. But guess what? When the bill comes due, now all of a sudden you want somebody else to pay for it. But you're so grown. I can do what I want to do. Who will check me, boo? But when the bill comes, you want us to pay for it, but you still want to have the right to do whatever you want without the people who are paying the bill telling you what they want to do, what you should do for me to continue to pay for this. That's my issue. You know, I don't care what you do, as long as it's with consenting adults, because children cannot consent. And number two, I'm all for making sure that you accept the consequences, the reactions, and whatever comes with that, good or bad, from the choice that you make. That's all that I ask. I don't ask for nothing else. Because if you accept that, then hey, we got a deal. If you want to smoke and give yourself lung cancer, then you're fine with that, take the deal. If you want to sit here and smoke marijuana in your house, cool. That is your house, you're paying the bills. But when you choose to become under influence and you want to get behind a wheel or go operate some equipment and you go out there and kill somebody, hurt somebody, now you got to deal with us. That's the deal we should have. And to see about these plagues of addiction, Patrick Kennedy, addiction's already here. What do you mean plagues of addiction? This shit is already here. But the problem is, see, this is what it is, Mr. Kennedy. See, you don't want to talk about that war on drugs. You remember we went war on drugs back in the 80s, we're getting tough. Remember that whole era, we're getting tough. But getting tough didn't do nothing. Y'all talking about we getting tough and we're doing all this stuff, but what really happened? Y'all put more drugs into the communities. We saw more communities that never had drugs before. We can go to all major cities. You all can probably tell me about a city in York, in a community in your city that used to be nice until the drugs came. Did the crime came, the poverty came, the blight came. But now Patrick Kennedy, who's been living on a country club all his life, and is now worried about plagues of addiction and worried about that it may come to his front door. It's been at a lot of people's front door, Mr. Kennedy. It's been at a lot of our front door. People have gotten caught up with these hoes get tough, these two strikes, these strike laws. People have gotten caught up with this stuff because you know why? Rent sinking. Because y'all were making money off incarcerations, off of fines, off of privatized probations, but now you're worried about plagues hitting cities. This shit has been here. And what are you going to do about it? We have tried to hold, lock them up, lock them up, lock them up. Let's do clean sweeps. That's this zero tolerance where we're not taking it anymore. We're putting our foot down, and we still have the problems. We still have the problems. But see, this is what happens when government doesn't know what it wants to do as long as they want to get they cut of the pie. See, that's all this is. Government wants to make sure they're getting their cut of the pie. And they really think that we're that stupid that we're not going to realize what they're doing. And they're playing this word game. Now, you got to get up pretty early with me when you want to play the word game with Dominic Huff. Because I know what time it is. And I know you know what time it is, too. Because this whole plague is out here. The issue is, you may be saying, well, dominate, but you know, if we got all this addiction, why are you supporting more of it out there? Because part of it comes from unregulated markets. Think about this for a minute. In many cities, you cannot buy alcohol on certain days. Georgia just finally repealed that draconian blue law where you can buy alcohol on Sundays. And my sense was when people was fighting, I said, you know what? If you don't want to buy alcohol on Sundays, you do not have to. If you don't want to open your liquor store or offer your liquor for sale on Sundays, you don't have to. But those that want to make the money, those that want to invest should be able to do it. And we let the market tell us otherwise. If the stores are doing well on Sundays, then guess what? They're going to make the money. If people do not want to be bothered with on Sunday, the stores are going to close because it's no longer a profit motive behind it. Because remember, people, business has a profit endeavor. For a business, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, or else it's a hobby. You know, I'm down here at this station here in Jonesboro, Georgia, and they had this nice setup and everything down here. Can you, if it wasn't a profit-making endeavor, would they do all this? Would they continue to upgrade it? No. They would sit there and either cut this operation back, close it down, or just put it in somebody's basement, call it a day. But this is business. Same thing with the CBD. We're looking at ways of how to get people healthier. You know, where people are like millennials are all about, I want to do health. I see more millennials out there exercising and walking and running. And everybody saying, oh, you did your exercises this morning. You know, that's ingrained in that millennial culture. Because remember, we're in the era where we saw a lot of those PSAs on Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, Saturday morning cartoons, you know, Family Time, ABC, TGIF. They put a lot of those messages in our heads. You know, I can tell you something, things that no, turn off the light, turn off the light, turn off the light. That was all about, you know, help save electricity, help save the planet, turn off the light when you're not using it. You know, use a curtain, open the curtains. You know, recycle, reduce, reuse, recycle. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Remember the 3 R's. See, I know you remember that. We're taking it back to the day. And you saw the big green recycling logos all over the place, and you looked at the bottles, and you made sure you help your parents recycle. You was the one doing all the recycling. Because guess what? That was what we was ingrained with. Because they always said you want to start new habits, you start with the children. The children apply the peer pressure to the parent. And you may be saying, what does this do with everything? Guess what? What this plague of addiction that Kennedy's talking about, we're not worried about that. What we need to worry about is getting off the black market, making sure it's regulated, making sure that people are responsible. What age should somebody consume marijuana legally in this country? Should it be 16? Should it be 18? Should it be 21? Should it be 30? Should it be 50? What qualifies for medical usage of it? We have to ask those questions because, again, we're in another prohibition era. People are going to figure out ways of how to get it themselves if you're not going to allow it. They can just get on the plane with a passport, go overseas, get the medicine they need. They know they can't bring it back here, but they'll stay there, get the treatment, and come back here. This sounds like something that Big Pharma and so Mr. Kennedy, they get up here and say, you know, we're in the middle of the opioid crisis. That popping pills. Anything can be a vice if you're not careful. Food can be a vice. You know, there's such thing as overeating. You know, you can always eat a whole bunch of sweets. Drink up too many sodas. Are we going to ban and regulate that as well, too? And then again, New York's already tried that with the soda ban. So you want to sit here and tax sodas. And I remember late Rush Limbaugh talked about this back in 2007 with these cigarette taxes. He had mentioned, you know, everybody said, yeah, tax the smokers, tax the smokers, tax the smokers. Yeah, get them. All that type of stuff. Then we started seeing cigarettes being sold in the black market. Then people stopped buying the cigarettes on the regular market, which means the tax revenue went down because the government got used to spending that type of money. Now we have to deal with the fact of, okay, we need that money. Well, we're going to tax. He mentioned it's all fun and games. They tax something that you use. We can start saying we're going to tax sodas. We're going to tax candy bars. We're going to tax hotel rooms. We're going to tax shoes. We're going to tax this. We're going to tax that. They look at ways that we just recently got to the battle of sales tax and the internet purchases. Because government does not want to be left out of the pie. They don't want to miss their share of this money. And what this is, when he's on the plague of addiction, this tells me, Mr. Kennedy, that you all have not figured out how to tax and regulate this yet. But you will have to figure it out very soon because we're getting more holistic now. We're getting very more holistic in this society. And you want to wake up and smell the coffee and figure out how can we do this stuff. Now, you want to say, well, we want to fund programs and do things like that. I have no problem with that. But we have to make sure that these programs are getting things done. Y'all know how I feel about programs. Because everybody has a program, but these programs are doing absolutely nothing to help the people. Absolutely nothing. So we have to make sure these programs are getting stuff done. What do you think about this? Do you really think that we will have more potheads out there? Because you go to any club right now and find somebody toe up, drunk from the floor up. You can go places and see people. I know people. I don't know people personally, but I know people who smoke so much at the point I can smell the cigarettes on them, and I'm not even close. Like okay, so I'm walking to an ashtray, and it's on that person. But we always say, "My body, my choice. My pussy, my choice." But my body, my choice should apply all across the board. No, yeah, you can sleep with whoever you want to sleep with, provided that's a consensual person. Yeah, you be able to do whatever you want to do with your pussy. If somebody wants to drink, smoke, consume marijuana, it's their body, their choice. Right? Right? Crickets. See, y'all want liberation at the expense of other people. I want liberation for everybody. All I want is with liberation is that you are accountable and responsible for the results of such actions. But see, nobody wants the accountability and responsibility because then all of a sudden we're being mean, we're hating, we're being toxic, we're being fragile, we're hating on people's fun and all this other types of stuff. So some of you all are like Patrick Kennedy, to where you all want to do this dumb shit and all this type of stuff, worry about things because it's something that you don't like. Just say, I see people, oh, the rap music. But then all of a sudden, when the feminists started embracing rap music, said, oh, it's liberation, like Maxine Waters talking about some WAP has audacity by Megan Thee Stallion. Now all of a sudden, y'all want to embrace rap music now. We see you. We see you for who you are, which is a fraud and a phony. It's 22 past the top of the hour. It's 22 past the top of the hour. We'll take a music break. We'll jam a little bit. Give you a selection of music to think about what we just talked about. You listen to We the People Radio here on Fusion Radio and your local syndicated partners. I am Dominic Huff, and we'll be right back. And we're back here on We the People Radio, on Fusion Radio and your local syndicated partners. Make sure you like us at our fan page at We the People Talk. That's We the People Talk on Facebook. We are working on building our our online presence. So hopefully by the end of April, we're going to have a website up, have some other places where you can find us. We'll have the archives of the shows that you're missing. Probably announce another syndicated partner that's coming up. You know, we may not get that syndicated partner probably later on this year, but we're going to be doing a lot of great things. So this is the National Millennial Based Talk Show. So you all probably hearing me on another night doing a different show for the Metro Atlanta audience. I'm looking forward to that. So, you know, I'm a media guy by trade, so there's so much stuff that I do. So definitely follow us. And I am going to probably end up doing a centralized website so everybody know everything that I do, so you can follow me all over the place. And I target things for different audiences. That's how we do things with this. What did you think about that? We just opened up with this whole Patrick Kennedy worry about legalizing and commercializing cannabis. It's about plays of addiction. Now that the shit may be coming to his door, hell's been at everybody's door. So we had to rip that apart. That came from Fox News. Now we're about to go to St. Louis Magazine. Has the pandemic changed any college students' career plans? This came out on March 10th, article by Jen Roberts. Let's go over this. You know, classes have moved online and hybrid skills to become the norm. The pandemic has complicated the educated system in profound ways. It made students reconsider career plans as they see healthcare providers battle the novel coronavirus and watch others lost their jobs. I think everyone has been evaluating their career goals, said John Link, the director of the Webster University's Career and Planning Development Center. We really think we are seeing the ups and downs of job growth and job loss. So I think students are considering other types of positions. Last year, we heard the phrase that we never heard before was the term essential workers, essential jobs. And the feds came out with what that was. And a lot of these jobs based off the Fed definition and probably your state definition either matched up or went different. You know, as a journalist, we're considered essential. You know, public safety is essential. People that work on water, plumbers, electricians, they're considered essential. You know, retail workers were considered essential. So a lot of people recognize who was still working and who had to sit at home during the shelter-in-place orders due to the coronavirus COVID-19 situation. And right now we're at a death toll of 500,000 people, and I want to take time out to give sympathies and condolences to anybody who has lost a loved one to the coronavirus, the COVID-19 thing. Our hearts are out with you all. Hopefully, you know, your time of grief, you can definitely find peace. But with that being said, let's look at this with college. Now, y'all know I talked about this with college for a long time. Now, first, I always tell people, college is not necessarily the thing that can solve every problem that people have. You know, go to college, go to college, go to college. Just like everybody thinks moving to Atlanta, it's going to solve their problems. Especially these people from New York, Philly, Chicago, Houston. Everybody comes to Atlanta thinking it's going to solve their problems, and their problems get worse because the problem is not necessarily with the geographical location. The problem is how the person's operating and what they're doing and the decisions they're making. But if you bring that here to a new city, you're not going to see the progress that you're expecting to have. So I've always told young people, from the high schoolers to college, that we got to make sure that, you know, don't go to school to get an easy major or something that you think will be a hot field. Do your homework, do your due diligence. Is this school I'm going to, does this school have a program that's worth my time for the major I'm going in after? What does this program rank? What does this department rank in national rankings? Is this school known for graduates in this field? I want you to think long and hard about that. Because when you think long and hard about that, that helps you get out there to the field. Because you don't want to have a useless degree. And we have so many people with useless degrees where they went to school for something and doing something totally different. Now, we can argue about the usefulness of that degree. Now, sometimes things change, tastes change, priorities change, opportunities come into your lap. You may say, hey, I went to school for business administration, but I had a great opportunity to go teach. I couldn't turn that down, so guess what? That's different. You're just going to where the economy is shifting you at. You're going to where they can move you towards so you can go and do what you need to do. Or you may have a degree that nobody has any use for, to the point you find yourself not even listing the degree on your resume. And you have to make sure that you're positioning yourself appropriately. That's why I tell people internships, volunteer experience, getting involved, building that resume while you're younger now, to where you're not being tripped up later. Because so many people wait to their senior year. I've seen it in high school, I've seen it in college. You went to that last year, then you want to say, oh, I gotta go get an internship. Oh, I gotta go start doing this. Oh, I gotta go start doing that. But you don't have no relationships to go talk to a teacher for a recommendation. You don't have any relationships to go talk to anybody in the field. You have to come in. I can deal with high schoolers with this. This is more for college students. When you come to college your freshman year, you need to start thinking about your internships. You need to start thinking about what you want to do in that field. Join those clubs that are tied to that major you want to get into. If you're in a city that has a city chapter, you can get a collegiate membership. Yes, you can. Really. So if there's no club on campus, or the club on campus sucks, all they want to do is talk shit and gather, then you go join the city chapter. And go out here and really hear people who are in the field, get to know people, get to ask questions, really get immersed in what you're trying to do. Because the virus is making people question their career plans. Because we're seeing now, we're going to the word contactless. You probably see everybody's doing contactless now. We got contactless checkouts. We got contactless this, contactless that, where you have very little impact with people because we're trying to control the spread of the virus. But what we're trying to do now is, okay, is this going to kill some industries? Is this going to modify some industries? And before the pandemic happened, we already saw robotics and technologies starting to evolve and to enhance and to upgrade a lot of fields. Because think about it. Let's go back to 2000 for a minute, the year 2000. You may remember some of the grocery stores in your local area that may start offering self-checkouts. It was cool. We get to scan our own groceries. I love self-checkout. If I can get in and out, when I hate getting behind somebody that don't know what they're doing, they're scared of the machine and all that type of stuff. Or you got those stores where the theft is so high, every time it's so off. Somebody got to come and look at your bags, making sure you ain't do extra stuff in the bag. You name it. I can't stand that type of stuff. But I had Dr. Allensworth, John Allensworth from Georgia State University, my old geography professor. I remember we talked about this in this class in the spring of 01. He stated that, self-checkouts, y'all love them, right? Everybody said, yeah, we like them. He said they're costing jobs. He said, get a cashier to ring you up. Insist that a cashier scan your groceries because we're trying to save jobs. Now, I'm 19, so I didn't pay that no attention. But as I look at that statement now as a 38-year-old, the first thing I've looked at now with Dr. Allensworth, I was at run to him again, assuming he's still alive, he was kind of up in age back then. I would tell Dr. Allensworth, it has evolved jobs. Instead of having a checker, now we have somebody who has to program that machine. That's a new job. Somebody who has to install that machine. That's a new job. Somebody who has to build that machine. That's a new job. Somebody who has to maintain that machine. That's a new job. So now we have new industries that have been created because of these self-checkouts. And I'm sure we can go further down the line. You probably have companies go with different models. You may have stores that want a model that's unique just for their business model. You name it. It's just like you take what we already had, but now we got those machines. The machines that give you the cash back. You can swipe the debit cards and stuff. We're getting to the point we're going to a cashless society, folks. You have people that are going around with a coin shortage and a cash shortage and stuff, telling everybody, if you can, pay your bills using your cards. A lot of us have paid bills online. How do you pay your bills? You got your credit card bill. Like if you got to say a Bank of America credit card, or where some of these places that you go to, like Capital One, though, that you go to a Capital One branch to pay the bill. I went to pay my Capital One bill while I was in Louisiana for business back in December, and I went to the bank and I wanted to pay that bill now. I said I wanted to go ahead and post right away. But I think Bank of America lets you do that. I know Woodforest, they white label the credit cards through Elon Bank, so you can't go into a branch to pay the credit card. So how many times if you have a bank that lets you pay the card at their actual branch, how many times have you gone to the bank branch? When was the last time you did banking at a branch? You know, we have mobile banking now. We have online banking now. So we don't have to go see bank tellers. You know, like with Uber and Lyft. That's another disruption. We don't have to call. I remember back in the day when my grandma used to ride cabs. She used to have to call the Ben Hill taxi company that was here in Atlanta. I'm not sure if they're still around, to request a cab. And she had to give her the address where she was at, or who was at the grocery store, you know, when she needed to ride to the grocery store to call in the shop. She'll call, like, sometimes the grocery store used to let you use the little courtesy phones in the front desk, like, back call a taxi, or what have you. They used to let you, if you was calling a taxi, or somebody come pick you up, they'll let you use the phone at the front desk. So she'll call, or she may use quarter. Back then, the phone, the quarter, she'll put the quarter down and request a cab. Cab came and picked us up. Now you ain't got to call nobody. You just open up an app, the phone tracks where you're at. You can type in where you want to go, and next thing you know, you got your credit card, debit card in there, and the thing picks you up, pay you. No cash there installed. You give a tip on that thing, the review. That's in that third. You get to see who your driver is versus you don't know who they gonna send you. They have a picture. The driver can call you right then and there. Say, hey, I'm at the grocery store looking for you. Same thing with food. I think now more restaurants are abolishing the delivery department of their business. I think the pizza chains will be the last to get rid of it. That was a big part of their model. You know, like Pizza Hut, for example. Pizza Hut used to have the big huts, the big hut roofs and everything for those restaurants. So with Pizza Hut, it was pizza night. Everybody used to go to Pizza Hut and you used to sit down, eat those good pizzas. Now you taste Pizza Hut, now like, oh God, it's terrible. But I'll be nice. Who knows Pizza Hut? Maybe a sponsor here. You know, Pizza Hut, if you listen, we'd love to have you sponsor the show. Holler at your boy. But Pizza Hut phased out those dining rooms. It's hard to find a dining in Pizza Hut now. You know any Pizza Huts, you go sit down and somebody comes takes your order, you can sit down and have a pizza with yourself or a date or yourself and your family. You don't see that no more. They have phased out to these little kiosks now that when you can order the pizzas and go. Or you can have the pizza delivered. Domino's was really big on that. I remember the whole 30 minutes or less, 30 minutes or it's free, where they was just slinging out the pizzas. Now a lot of restaurants say instead of me hiring somebody to do that, instead of me taking a phone call to do that, you can go to an app on your phone or the website to go ahead and place the order. Then order what you want, then the food comes, then you pay for it using your debit and credit card. You seeing how everything is changing in front of our eyes? Where we're hitting buttons, we're using these computers, we're using these phones now, that where we have so many things in place that we can do what we used to couldn't do. So that's why I think this is a good cause for many college students and high school students to ask themselves, okay, how safe is this industry I want to go into? You know, COVID-19 coronavirus has definitely shifted some gears, has pushed us more to a digital direction now. Is my job safe? Like, I'm hearing this radio station. You know, we had like think about radio has changed. There's no big satellite dish outside of here. Everything is internet based. So now I don't have to worry about getting the FCC license or competing with everybody who wants a slot on that radio station. And you're dealing with the fact that, okay, the station has a certain demographic that they're trying to cater to. Internet radio stations, you can have 4 or 5 internet radio stations out of this one room. You see us on many platforms, on Facebook, on Roku, on their website, all over the place, right? Then you get it on demand. Don't you love on demand? So you know what? I catch it on demand. This is all evolution. This is what's happening to a lot of industries. We're all going to it. We're all shifting gears of where we're going as a society. And this is where a lot of the jobs are going. It's not that the jobs are going away. I have warned people for the longest. Unskilled labor, social justice labor is not in demand in the marketplace. It isn't. So I am glad that college students are asking the question, dude, where's my job? Dude, where's this industry? You already know how they those commercials, dude, you get the deal. Dude, where's my car? You know, I know I'm dating myself. But, you know, it goes into what we're talking about here. Thomas Skoll, a freshman at Truman State University, planned to major in biology with the intention of going to medical school. Right before the fall semester, he changed his major to biochemistry and molecular biology. The change wasn't entirely related to the pandemic, but the past year helped him see the importance of the role of research. I've always been interested in immunology, and the pandemic has aroused that, he says. I like to go to graduate school and research something like that. COVID did raise questions like, is this really what I want to be doing, says Rockhurst University sophomore Jessica Umisa, who's majoring in biochemistry, but it also recommitted me. People in the medical field are really necessary at this time. Before the pandemic, Avery Olson, a junior at Francis Howell Central High School, considered majoring in vocal music, but now she wants to pursue chemistry. I was following along the vaccine trials, and the vaccine was being developed, and I was just in awe. If there's any way I can contribute to this world, I want to be doing some things that are groundbreaking. The pandemic also fuels Olson's desire for knowledge. I have a passion for learning, she says. It brought to the center stage that humanity, how much there that humanity does not know. So we also, these are just a couple of students that Jen Robertson interviewed for her article. You may remember in the 2008 recession, we had the same conversation with college students. You had students who graduating class of 2008 that was really walking into uncertainty. And it was even spilling into the 2012 presidential election, where people said, okay, you got kids that are graduating, you got to go back home to deliver their childhood bedrooms because there's this way nothing out here for them. The economy is self-correcting in a lot of ways. The economy is trying to keep up with all this innovation and this adaptation. And we're going to keep innovating and keep adapting to the point we're asking ourselves, what's next? You're going to hear more about fast food restaurants now. They're not going to have many, like you see these kiosks now, they're taking the orders now. You're not going to talk to nobody now. You'll be able to hit buttons and insert your money and swipe a card to order your food now. A lot of these restaurants, you know, you'll see at the big restaurants first. Then you're seeing now to where, this is my prediction, you will have these little things in these restaurants. I see Olive Garden playing around with a little bit, to where they won't have a server. They just gonna seat you at the table, and then you start pressing buttons what you want, and then somebody brings the food to you. It could probably be like a manager or just one person that's out here bringing the food, and all they're doing is going around checking everybody's drinks. This is where we're going. Companies are looking at ways to cut down on labor costs. They're looking at ways of how do we become more efficient. You got Amazon that has changed it. I see Amazon trucks every day. Where I live in Southwest Atlanta, I see them at the gas stations in the morning. They're all filling up those big trucks, those big splinters. to go drop off packages. No, don't act like you don't order nothing from Amazon. I know you order stuff from Amazon. You probably got some stuff, Amazon package on the way right now to your house. Amazon probably know your house by heart. Always dropping stuff off. That's innovation. And that came in expensive stores like Sears and Kmart. So we can't get mad because what we say back in the day, this is what we call shifting consumer taste. Consumer tastes are going to change. Case in point, you know, because food in retail is always the best example because it's such a relatable example that anybody can relate to. Think about it. More millennials, we're all millennials, we're thinking about healthy eating now. You're seeing menus putting out calories, sugar, and salt. You know, we're gluten-free. You got people going vegan. You got people going keto. You know, so restaurants have to evolve that make sure they incorporate those items for those diets. So if you don't evolve, you're going to get left behind. Bottom line. There is no way around that. No way around that. And so, college students, I salute you for taking your hats off now and say, hey, I got to start asking some questions now on what's about to happen to me in the future. It's better to ask them now while you can change that major, change that minor, and reposition yourself, rebrand yourself, than have this degree and you can't do nothing with it. It's 15 for the top of the hour, 15 for the top of the hour. You listen to We the People Radio here with Dominic Huff. Fusion Radio local syndicated partners. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Here it is on Saturday, March 20th, 2021. And we're back here on We the People Radio. You know what it is? This is that little itty bitty titsy witsy segment we do before the top of the hour. I always do that on purpose to make sure we stay on the clock around here. So we're getting ready for the new hour that's coming up. So for those who'll be joining us in at 11 o'clock, we look forward to seeing them. Let us kind of review. The pandemic has changed a lot of college students' plans. It's probably changed your plans, probably changed the plans of somebody you know. It's probably changed also your career plans if you're not in college, because a lot of people had to really reevaluate their lives, and that comes naturally anyway with or without a pandemic, to where you will ask yourself, what am I should be doing? Where we have the quarter life crisis, the midlife crisis. Then you start thinking about every 10 years of your life, where am I at? Am I prepared for retirement? How's my health looking? Am I want to get married? Am I want to have children? What do I want to do with my life? So these are questions we've always asked ourselves, but COVID-19 made us have that conversation as a collective. And I'm glad we're having that conversation as a collective, because I tell a lot of parents that you should not just be throwing your kids into a college just because it sounds good and feels good, and then the kid is out here doing something that you got this fancy education for, they can't do nothing with. Or like, okay, they're doing something that they didn't need to go to Harvard for, or they didn't go to Georgia State University for. And I'm not against college. People always say, "Oh, you're against college. You're against college." I'm all for making sure young people have their options, and their options are exercised. Because in the next hour, we're going to talk about the shortage of workers that we have in a lot of fields out here. Because we're not really telling people about jobs that are hiring right now on the spot that say, hey, go get that degree, we'll pay for that degree. There are opportunities out there. And I think this can also tie into proposed student loan forgiveness, or we got to start looking at, because I have my solution of what student loan forgiveness should look like, and I think we need to make sure that it can help with the labor shortage that we have across this country in certain fields, to make sure, okay, you got this loan and you want to get it forgiven, okay, you want to go work in this field for a while, give us some labor, because we need labor. You know, everybody say they support labor, but guess what? Ain't nothing happening in this country without labor. It just ain't. It still takes people to run businesses. Either we say, well, we're going to machines, we're going to bots, we're going to automation. Yeah, but guess what? It still takes somebody to work on all that equipment. Somebody has to build that equipment. Just like I said in the last segment, people don't go away, just their role evolves. I don't need a cashier, but I need a technician. And guess what? We have a shortage of technicians now. Like, I need a plumber. I need somebody to cut my hair. I need somebody to do my hands and feet. I need somebody to fix the car. I need somebody to do a lot of things that we kind of shun at. I was talking about a colleague of mine the other day, because cars are becoming so more computerized now, that gone are the days of the mom and pop shop right down the street from your house. It didn't matter what neighborhood you lived in, there was always a full service gas station that could do basic stuff in your car. It was an oil change, fix a tire, do different things real quick. When you was close to home, you walk back to the house real quick if you needed to, and you just call. They just call you, walk back up there and get your car. That hit home with me of maybe a couple of years ago, where I had to go get a tire plug, and there was no place close by that plugged tires. You had to go to those corporate places now if you want a tire plug, or luckily you had to go to one little lower income neighborhoods where they have tire shops. A lot of those tire shops, the used tire shops you see all over the place, they're taking up old fast food restaurants, old body shops, or old whatever buildings they can find. They can set all them old regular tires in. And I used to buy used tires from time to time. But they was the ones that are still doing the tires, doing the tire plugs. So when I need to get a tire plug, I went to them, let them plug in that. Because I didn't have time to go wait at the Tires Plus or Mighty Muffler or whoever, all they try to get a plug. I just wanted to get my plug and go. And that's what I missed about the mom and pop place. You had somebody say, oh, you need a plug, we can do that real quick. Get you in, get you out, and keep you moving. They knew somebody was getting breaks. I thought that's going to take a minute. They could take a break to come do that, get your money, and send you on your way. Again, we're changing now, because those shops now did a lot of things with cars are more manual. But now, you probably have a car, like I have a car that has computer, all the consoles are computer based in there now. Have all these computer codes and stuff in there. So you're starting to see how things are evolving. And you have to have those machines that know how to take those codes off legally. Notice the word I said legally now. Some of you go out here, pay for these fraudulent admissions tests and everything. You know who you are. And I'm not against what you have to do. You have to do because times are tough. You can get that car fixed. You need to get that thing taken care of. So it is what it is. But we know what time it is. In the meantime, we have to ask ourselves, what's next with this economy? And that question is going to be coming up in local elections this year. It's going to come up in midterm elections next year. It's a question that I think that a lot of these politicians really don't have the answers to. Or they have the answers to it, but they don't really want to come out and say the truth of what needs to be said. But you know me. I won't say the truth, but it's good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. Because the truth has to be put out there. So we are an evolving, we are a changing economy. And we have to get ready for that. And we have to make sure that you're ready for it. Your children are ready for it. If you're a college student, or you may be in college, are you ready for the uncertainty? Are we positioning ourselves to make sure that we're not out in the cold? Or that we're not in a field that's now becoming increasingly irrelevant? So a lot of fields that are becoming irrelevant now. There's a lot of things that we used to do that we don't do no more. Like, who takes photos to get developed now? Everybody has digital cameras. You remember back in the day, you used to had the envelope, register the name and address on there. You drop the disposable camera in there. You drop the roll of film and you put it off. You dropped it in that box. And a couple of days later, interest came back. Or 1 hour photography stuff. You waited that whole hour. Guess what? We don't use that no more. That's not a skill you need to have. But it is top of the hour. We're going to play about 2 songs. We're going to play 2 songs for you in this music break. And when we get back, we're going to talk lots more about what's going on with these college students. Don't go anywhere. I am Dominic Huff. You're listening to Fusion Radio and our syndicated partners, and this is We the People Talk. Stay tuned.
so I can be free and absorb the sound that keep me round, doing my thing constantly with no worries. Peace to Keith Murray. Just like you. To keep me flowing, to keep me going, to keep me growing, to keep me to eat from knowing what happens out there. It's not my concern. You wanna die, it's not my turn. To do something to me like jumping the Mercedes on the highway, doing over 80 without music, baby. I'll go crazy, just like you. Make me call my homie on the phone like there's something new out that got me in the zone. Just that feeling got me. I wish music can adopt me. Just like you. Music. Woman got me in the air saying sweet nothings, make love come out the mouth, no frontin', like all of a sudden, just like you, taking away your worries and cares, any problems, music will be right there, together match, yo, we a perfect pair, is that true, Marvin? Yeah, yo, to get you the bangness, body soul snatcher, universal language, it be the light, so open up, this is it, what the fuck, just like you. One fly tune to have black and white vibe in one room. No confrontation, party all night. It's just a sensation. Just like music. I got the music. Music. I got the music. Music. I got the music. Music. I got the just like music makes the soul of the man.
And we're back. We the People Talk, hosted by Dominic Huff. It's 8 after the top of the hour. 8 after the top of the hour here on Fusion Radio, your local syndicated partners. What do you think of this show? Contact us at office@10thamendmentmedia.com. That's office at 10thamendmentmedia.com. Office is spelled out. Excuse me. 10th is spelled out. So 10th and 10th Amendment Media is spelled out. Also, you may call me at 404-451-1240. That's 404-451-1240. We're also looking for advertisers, sponsors, and partners. If you're interested, please either shoot us an email or give us a call. Again, that's 404-451-1240. That's 404-451-1240. Or office@10thamendmentmedia.com. That's office@10thamendmentmedia.com. We're getting everything set up, so in the meantime, we're going to use what we have to keep the party rolling. That's how we operate around here. This is the second and final hour of the broadcast today here on Saturday, May 20th, 2021. As of those who are listening today, you are listening to a brand new episode. For those that are listening on demand or catch us on the rebroadcast, thank you for your continued support. We definitely do appreciate it. And the best thing that you can do to help me is spread the word. Invite people to like our fan page. Share the link to the show when you see it. Help us get the word out there, because you could be finding somebody who really will find value of this information. They will get hooked on it and do great things with this information. Because all that I ask that you do around here is think, apply, and execute. You know, as Jay Duvall says, shout out to him from Jay Duvall's University, Continuing Education University, excuse me, is knowledge is useless unless applied. You have all the knowledge in the world, but if you're not applying it, then what's the point of it? You know, you don't want to just have all this stuff stacked up. So let's do a quick recap of what we talked about in the first hour. First hour, we went over Patrick Kennedy and his bullshit about this whole legalizing marijuana and stuff. Blew that out the water. Then we talked a lot about the whole COVID-19 and college degrees and telling people how people are rethinking their educational plans. And I also reminded people, hey, we all are rethinking plans right now. I think COVID-19, coronavirus, really just put things on a hold, made things come to the forefront. Let's say, okay, what's next here? What do we got to do? Because a lot of people was hoping they could be locked in the house and Joe Biden would give them a nice fat paycheck so they let the kids go to school. They just sit there and collect the money and go home. Joe said not so fast. A lot of these governments are saying not so fast either because Georgia pretty much reopened last year. We was open at about half capacity. I think we're still at that. Texas, Mississippi, and a lot of other states are easing up their restrictions on lockdowns and industry requirements. They're kind of letting local officials determine that. So you're going to see, and then we're also seeing that people are hitting the beach. So things are slowly coming back to normal. But please wear your mask, people. Please social distance. Please wash your hands and be smart. Be smart when you're out there. You know, we're not over this yet. We're turned the curve, but we don't want to go back to the dark days. So please be smart when you're out there. You know, enjoy yourself, support these businesses, go out and work, but make sure that you can still be here to enjoy the fruits of your labor as well. We don't want to see you catch the virus because we lost 500,000 people to this, and we know we had several thousand cases of people that caught the virus and stuff. And I know now that we're entering pollen season, people are coughing, sneezing, and gagging, and I'm thinking everybody's gonna be in fear. Like, oh God, did I have the virus and all that type of stuff? Take advantage of the free testing that's out there if you're unsure of it. And the vaccines are coming up. So if you want to get a vaccine, they are coming soon. Every state has different requirements, so please check your state's requirement by going to your state's public health website. Information is there. If you can sign up for the shot, go ahead and get signed up for it. Let's begin to put COVID-19 coronavirus in the rearview mirror. I don't think it would ever go away, to be completely honest, but don't mean we'll be walking around here with masks or looking like little surgeons and welders or some of these masks that people have on. But I think it's just something we're going to have to deal with. I think it's going to be another version of the flu or what have you. And, you know, we're not trying to play with it out here. You know, folks think this is a joke and a game, but guess what? I'm just going off of common sense. That's just how I operate. I don't fear monger. But I do want people to use wisdom in all things when it comes to this. But speaking of COVID-19, a Gallup poll from last December states half of all college students say COVID-19 may impact completion. Today we're talking a lot of college stuff, so for those that remember from University of Truth, this is kind of a throwback today. About half of currently enrolled college students nationally who are pursuing a bachelor's degree, 49%, think it's likely or very likely that COVID-19 would negatively impact their ability to complete their degree or credential. The slight majority of students pursuing associate degrees at 56% say the same. These results come from the Lumina Gallup student study conducted between September 22nd and October 5th, with almost 4,000 students pursuing a bachelor's and close to 2,100 students pursuing an associate's degree. Studies were conducted using the opt-in panel, and the samples weighed to represent the national population of currently enrolled students. Black and Hispanic students say that pursuing a bachelor's or associate degrees are more likely to lead their peers to believe COVID-19 would likely or very likely adversely impact their degrees to finish their education. 44% of currently enrolled white students compared to 56% of currently enrolled black students, and Hispanic students are talking about how this is going to impact them. Bachelor degree students who are most likely to say COVID-19 would negatively impact their ability to complete their degree have a weaker support system. 44% of bachelor students say who strongly agree with this say that COVID-19 has a high likelihood of them Tom twice. Basically, what this is saying is, this goes back to having support systems, and support systems are very essential and crucial to not only anyone, particularly a college student. A lot of these college students are definitely dealing with the fact they have to work jobs. They're going at a slower rate because of financial aid. They don't want to get bombarded with a whole bunch of student debt. So they're really being very more strategic in how they're going about doing things, because they want to make sure they're not going to have a whole bunch of debt when they graduate. And you're thinking about, you got a lot of kids who they're maybe the first time college student in their house. They may be the student who's going the furthest along. You may have a whole lineage of people who started college and didn't finish. You may be a student who has to work full time and not only take care of yourself, but you have other people you have to take care of. So today's college students have a lot more hitting them now than what we've had in the past. And I saw this even when I was in college in the early 2000s. And I'm sure it probably happened in the 90s. When you were around the 90s and 2000s in college, did this impact you? Or were you able just to zoom on through? And that's not to mention, we have a lot more people who are becoming younger parents now. So you may have a kid now, a child or two. There's a lot of people getting child. I think we may see an uptick, even though the study said we haven't seen an uptick of babies during pandemics. It's usually during slow economic times. People spend a lot more time for each other, and they're bumping and grinding, and next thing you know, here comes these babies. So you know how that goes. We put that out there because we're really thinking about how can we really impact this. So if you have a student who is worried about this, let's ask ourselves what they mean by support system. There may be an environment they cannot study. You may have a house that's either crowded because a lot of people are living together now, or you may have somebody who is a vulnerable person for the coronavirus in the house. They may not have a desk to work at. They may not have a computer. They may not have the world's fastest internet. They may be distracted all the time because working from home is hard. And I worked from home when I was in between offices for a while. I had to just zone things out. Luckily, at the house, I was able to do certain days where I closed my doors. I had my mom's dog up in the front. He was in his crate at the time, and Mom was out today doing her field work. So I just zoomed in and just really just focused on, just had my desk facing the window, and I just focused on getting a lot of work done. And sometimes I work around the clock sometimes, just getting things done like I need to get done, because sometimes at night I feel that when the phone's not ringing, everybody's in bed, I can really focus on getting stuff done. You may have your designated time where you feel things are getting done, but a lot of these colleges may not have that luxury. You got an 8 o'clock in the morning class. You can't wait till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to sit there and start reading. And you got to go get online and do this stuff. There's this remote learning now. You have to sit there. It's not like remote learning from it was back in the day, where you just had a little course packet, you went there, took a quiz or a test, you did this, you did that, and you was done. Now, you got to sit here and be bored online. Like I told you last time we talked, slow days I think will be over with now. Now that they see they can do this remote learning, there's inclement weather. We saw that when they closed the schools for these severe storms. They said, we're just going to remote learn today. It's not going to be a free day. So everybody had to open up their little laptops and stuff and do the work from the house. So snow days are a thing of the past, young folks. I hate to tell you, but no more snow days when you get to go outside and play in the snow. Everybody will all be sitting in their house with their laptops open, their Chromebooks open, or wherever these devices are. You will be continuing the school day and not missing a beat. So with those who cannot finish, they're also thinking about, too, there's a lot of people who work in essential fields, and because people didn't want to work, your hours got picked up. So you went from working 20 hours a week to maybe 30 hours a week, maybe 40 hours a week, which impact the time that you need to study. So you just say, hey, I got to work, got to take care of things. So I don't have time to sit here and worry about school sometimes. When you're working, unfortunately, school takes a back burner, not because you're a bad person, not because you're a bad student, but because you have so much going on that you got to get done. That's the name of the game. So as far as how we get around this, every situation is different. A lot of people may not get an apartment. A lot of people may not living on campus. A lot of people may be still living at home. Or you live with other people. You may be worried about what's going on with your relatives. You may be worried about what's going on with you. This time is a very uncertain time. I wish I can offer you words of encouragement. I just tell you, keep your heads up. We will get through this. You know, tough times don't last, but tough people do. But I understand that sometimes that may not be enough to hear some good words of encouragement. You may want to hear, okay, what do we have to do? How can I get around this? When you have half these students that say it's impacting their completion, I said this is pretty much compounded with this regular rising cost of tuition, rising cost of fees, rising cost of books. You know, I may have to do things that take care of myself. You have a lot of kids now where it's all on them, where they're dealing with rising rents, rising food costs, rising fuel costs. There's so much that's hitting people economically. We have a lot of young people who are dealing with things that adults are dealing with. And that's why they're under a lot more stress at such an early age. See, I know because I've been through this. So I can speak about this with great passion, great fluency. But a lot of people still think it's like 1975, 1983, 1994. When it comes to college, those days are long gone, people. These kids are under a lot of pressure. They're under a lot of stress. And we have to be mindful when polls like this Gallup poll came out, which to me it was a no dull watershed moment to me. And said, okay, these problems are continuing. Economics is a very hard thing to deal with. Personal economy, national economy, political economy. So the kid may have to finish for 5, 6, 7 years. Kid may have to leave and come back. This is a reality for many people. It's not that these kids are slacking. It's not that these kids are just partying so much they're not studying. These kids got to worry about day-to-day responsibilities. They may have a parent that's dealing with COVID. They may have a relative dealing with COVID. They may deal with the fact that their support system may have caught COVID, and then now they got to do things for themselves. We have to think outside the box and recognize what's going on. We'll take another break. I am Dominic Huff. It is 22 after the top of the hour, 22 after the top of the hour, here on We the People Talk, here on Future Radio and your local syndicated partners. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Like peace in a groove on a
we're back. We're back here on We the People. Talk here on Fusion Radio and local syndicated partners. I am Dominic Huff. It is close to half past the hour. We're 3 minutes shy of it. It's 27 after the hour, 27 after the hour here on Saturday, March 20th, 2021. I tell you, I just felt like I just sat here about 5 minutes ago, and next thing you know, we just zooming all over the place. No, shout out to my late mentor, B.J. Ellis. I remember when he taught me how to do radio. He's like, man, when you get in this studio, you get comfortable, you come ready to talk, come ready to do a show, it will just, it's fine. It's just time to get away from you. Just try to catch on, hold on to it, and especially you have a guest, you get callers, it's just, oh my God, we're just rapid fire. So you know it's time to go. To throw me out of here, bring on the next show. I definitely want to encourage you all to check out some of the other programming on Fusion Radio. We got Black Broken Bougie. I never heard of that. I never heard of them, but I definitely want you to check them out. We got several shows over there, so definitely Black Broken Bougie. I definitely like the name of that. I think it sounds very entertaining to see what they're talking about. Black Broken Educated. I was told Black Broken Educated. I was thinking about them VSB guys, very smart brothers, okay, very smart simps. Black Broken Budget. That's them. But this show on Fusion is called Black Broken Educated. I know they gonna cuss me out next week for saying the best of their show, but it's Black Broken Educated. Definitely check that show out. So I'm gonna be telling about other shows I want you guys to check out, so you can follow everybody along here. Because internet radio, we got to support each other. So I'm gonna get show description. You got a podcast you want me to promote? Let me know. Office at 10thamendmentmedia.com. That's office at 10thamendmentmedia.com. 10th is spelled out. But like I told you earlier in the broadcast, we will talk about how a decline in community college students is a big problem for the economy. You know, there are a lot enough skills trade people available. Since Gary Griffin, B&I's president of a construction company in Fort Myers, Florida, states, it is a big concern for us and it's only going to get worse because of the way these numbers are going. We see a lot of now hiring signs out here. Everybody's hiring. Everybody's looking for work. On the way down to the studio today, I saw there was a hotel over there in Barrow by South Lake Mall. They're looking for housekeepers. I saw Dunkin' Donuts is looking for workers. I'm just saying everybody's hiring, looking for workers. They're begging people to come work. They say one restaurant said apply today, work tonight. So we're seeing lots of small business out there looking for people to come and help fill the team, help build up the workforce. We're also seeing a lot of major jobs to where they can't get people like the law enforcement. I think every police agency in Metro Atlanta is hiring right now. Every sheriff's people to work in these jails right now. We got medical fields that are working. So we have lots of industries that just can't keep up with the demand. I remember last year when I had some work done in my house. Got a new hot water heater, had some little repair work done around the property. And the guy said, man, we're just backed up because you'd be amazed that we have companies that they're so swamped, they're sending people to us now. So I'm going to have to work on no ass because they call us and say, hey, can you take on some of this work? Because we are overwhelmed because we got some people that don't want to get out there because of the virus, and we just have a shortage of work. Same thing with public education. There are so many industries out here that are looking for workers. But unfortunately, it's not just apply today, work today, apply today, we'll call you tomorrow, then work next week. But a lot of people need credentials, they need the skills to work these jobs. That's where the community colleges are coming in. This is where on-the-job training is coming in at for those positions. That's why we're encouraging people to really, as I said earlier, know your options. If you want a 4-year degree and you need that because it will help you in your business or your career, then by all means do it, but do your research and make sure it's something that you want to do. Don't just do this because somebody else said you need to do this, or that's what everybody else is doing. Don't go to a college with your friend going there, because like I tell young people all the time, you're going to meet new people in college. You're going to have new experiences or what have you. And then when you got to college, you're not going to talk to half the people you went to college with. I've really talked to people I went to Georgia State with. I see them out and about, but I don't really chat up with them like that. I talk with them here and there, but it's like you meet new people wherever you go. people I was school in elementary school grew apart from them, went to middle school, went to a middle school with different clusters. Shifted from there, high school, new faces, new people, different cluster. Then I went to college, new faces, different people. In the adult world, worked at different jobs, worked at different sides of town, lived at different sides of town. So you'll always be having new experiences. Some of these people will kind of go along with you for the ride. You'll meet people wherever you go. So don't worry about your friends. You know, if it's meant to be, it's going to be meant to be. But you got to keep moving forward. You got to keep moving forward what you want to do with your life. And that's why I look at, you know, we're having a problem now because we're sitting there back to these 4-year colleges. As the song of Arrested Development goes, some of you all go to school for 4 years and still come out confused. But then we have these fields over here that are begging for workers that are close to 6 figures. Everybody online now on Clubhouse, on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. All these 6-figure earners. You know, the stats say we don't have that many 6-figure earners, but then all these people on the internet say it. Everybody making 6 figures. I hope you're doing your taxes because some of y'all out here flossing and all this type of stuff. And you best believe Uncle Sam got his agents out there watching. And they gonna want to know, we didn't see some tax returns. We see you flashing all this money, but we don't see you ain't doing no taxes. Please be legal. Please be legit, people. Please do your stuff right. But this is a big problem because people are looking for work. The number of students in community colleges in the fall declined more than 500,000 or 10% according to the National Student Clearinghouse Research Center. Of those now enrolled, a fifth are likely to delay their graduation because of the coronavirus, a Strata Education Network and Gallup survey found. This is a big problem for employers who need to fill jobs made even more essential by the pandemic and in fields where there are already shortages. They include healthcare, cybersecurity, information technology, construction, manufacturing, transportation, law enforcement, and utilities. The big news, I'm talking the big community drop enrollment, the big news of that big drop in community college enrollment is enlisting sympathy for students and prospective students who have delayed or slowed down their educations or dropped out. But the potential impact on the national economy of a decline in supply of graduates with badly needed skills has largely been overlooked. Talent shortages, including among workers traditionally supplied by community colleges, are also raising costs to consumers and causing business delays. What did I just tell you? We're talking about these firms now, you know, case in point. I know I went to the dentist's office last year. They're only operating on part-time schedule because of the virus. And of course, let everybody go on, sanitize the office and stuff, and checking your temperature and things like that. You know, that's one thing for the backlog, where a lot of doctors are not really rushing to see people. They're not rushing to crowd waiting rooms like they used to have. They're really trying to get people in and out, but then you're already dealing with that doctor maybe short staff. I've seen doctors ask, I know an office manager, I know somebody knows medical code and medical billing. There are so many skills out here. This is why I tell people, read trade journals, read the news, watch the news, stay abreast of what's going on, because there are some industries you can say, hey, I need a job. What skill can I go out here and get? But you have these other folks, like these broken budget folks, they're out here stacking degree. They got everything except for 98 degrees of common sense. You got all these degrees, but you can't work nowhere where you get paid. You got this crushing student loan debt because you're out here stacking degrees that make no sense. What is the plan? Okay, I want a degree. Okay, you got your degree. Now what's next? Where are you going? Same thing with these community colleges, but see, this is something as a society that we got to talk about. We downplayed learning trades so much to the point, you know, everybody hates blue collar people. But when something goes wrong, guess who you crying for? You want a blue collar person. When that plumbing goes out, you need a plumber. When that electricity acts up, you want a plumber. When you need some car work done, you want a plumber. You're not a plumber, excuse me. Let me rephrase that. You don't want a plumber, electrician. You want an electrician. You want a plumber when you. Let's restart that. Scratch that. When you had that leaky pipe or that hot water go out, you want a plumber. When you have some wire problems in the house, you want an electrician. With that car, you mind your own business on a Saturday, car dies down, you need somebody to come tow the truck. You need somebody to come fix the car. You need somebody when you're feeling all scared and fragile, you want a cop to come make the bad person go away and take him to jail. You want somebody to answer that 911 call. You want somebody to drive that ambulance. You want somebody to scan your groceries. You want somebody to make sure that sewer line's not backed up. You want somebody to make sure that these, when the power goes out, tree falls down, you want the utility company to come out here and get the power back on. When these computers go down, you want a computer technician out here. When you got something wrong, when you want your hair cut, when you want your hands and feet done. All these are blue-collar fields. But you out here shitting on blue-collar folks. But yet when the shit hit the fan, you want somebody blue-collar to come save your ass. Thank a blue-collar worker. Thank them today when you see them. Because they're the ones keeping this economy floating. Doing those shutdown orders last year, they're the ones that out there working. Thank us as news reporters. We keep you informed. We're out here making this information get out here to you. We're asking the tough questions for you. We can go on through the list of things of various workers. When now you can't find a 24-hour business, now you have to see one. Like, oh, good, somebody's open 24 hours, I can get gas, I can go grab something to eat. You have to see that open. But you out here shooting your nose up at blue-collar workers and, ugh, they're so uncouth, they're so this, they're so that, but they're so reliable and essential that you need them. And that's why parents, talking to you, young people talking to you, people who are in between things trying to figure out what they want to do, definitely talking to you. This community college shortage is going to get worse because guess what? People are going to be retiring from these jobs very soon. People are ready to retire and they're looking for their replacement, but guess what? Their replacements are not here. So that's how people end up delaying their retirements. I've seen this happen a lot in law enforcement, where people are staying 2-3 years to help with the staffing issues. Say, hey, we'll pay you more money if you stay a while just to help us out, help train these young people coming on board. We have to start getting back into career planning, and that needs to come back in these schools. That really, in my professional opinion, should start in middle school. We should start career planning. But the big problem that we have, we don't have anything together. Because we've been taught, you know how, you gotta say it together. Make good grades. Go to a good school. So you can make more good grades. So you get you a good job, good benefits, good hours. Nothing wrong with good jobs, good benefits, good hours. Nothing wrong with that. But what are you gonna do when there's a shortage of those good jobs, good benefits, good hours? And you got that degree and you figure out, dude, where's my job? Dude, where's this, where's that? See, I want to see you economically empowered. I want to see you working your passion. I don't give you earn 6 figures or not. That's not the important thing to me. The important thing is that you're a contributing and functioning member of society and you're doing something that you love to do. Are you doing what you love to do right now? And even like I said with the student loan debt stuff earlier, I also talked about these are the fields that we may have to incentivize people to go into with student loan forgiveness so they can be able to go help us with these labor shortages. I'm seeing more things about these labor shortages in so many fields and so many genres. We got some issues. What are we going to do when this stuff falls apart? What's going to happen? But nobody wants to talk about that. We just want to kick the can down the road, kick the can down the road, kick the can down the road. Everybody's want to kick the can down the road. That's all we want to do. But we're not going to continue to do that. We're going to address the issue while it's right here in front of us. Because the issues here are serious and they must be addressed. We have to incentivize things. We have to be mindful of the complexities and the economical situations happening to these young people and these adults. And we don't want people to be 35, 40, figure out what the hell is going on in my life. Why am I not finding work? Why am I not happy? Why am I broke? Why am I this? It's happening too often. It is happening way too often. And this thing about the community colleges is not a shock or surprise to me. It's not. Because this is another crisis that we're dealing with, and I think we're gonna have a student loan bubble burst where these people got all these fancy degrees that don't nobody want to have any interest in. That's really hurting these young people. This is something that outside the student loan forgiveness for essential fields. This is not an issue for federal or state or local legislation. This is an issue for common sense and for us to start really thinking about these young people. Because we have a situation on our hands. And it's going to get worse before it gets better, if it gets better at all. I don't mean to sound enormous, but I'm a realist. And I want you to think about what we're dealing with. And on top of that, let's take a break. Let's go to about 2 songs for you to think of what we just said. Don't go anywhere. It is 18 for the top of the hour, 18 for the top of the hour. You listen to We the People Talk here on Fusion Radio with Dominic Hupp, Saturday, March 20th, 2021. We'll be right back. And we're back. We're back. 10 before the top of the hour. 10 before the top of the hour. I know you're probably saying, Dominic, you're taking me way back with this music. Yeah, I like going way back to music. And eventually I want to play independent music around here. So I told you, this is just a pilot season as we get things together on this broadcast. So there'll be a lot of experiments, a lot of trying different things, a lot of excitement. So what do you think about the show? Office at 10thAmendmentMedia.com. That's office at 10thAmendmentMedia.com. 10th is spelled out. You have to always specify that when it comes to numbers. So people say, is it 10 TH? Is it 10? Is it 10 with an E and all this type of stuff? You know, everybody has these remixes. I don't do remixes to a lot of this stuff, so I like to let you know what's going on. We talked about a lot today on this broadcast. We talked a lot about following your dreams, economics, where things stand at, and how can you really get your piece of the pie. And the economy is changing. COVID-19 accelerated what we already knew was coming. We knew this day was coming, but the can kept getting kicked down the road. We kept delaying it. We kept referring to it. We never knew what was coming up. But it just slapped us in the face, got in our face, and hey, this stuff is here. So therefore, we have to say this is what we got to do. So as we move forward with closing this out, I want you to think about a few things. If you're in college right now, are you happy with your degree? Are you happy with what you're studying? Are you happy with where you're at? Are you happy with where you're going? If you are a parent, what are you encouraging your child to do? What are you doing? Are you finding yourself stuck economically right now? Are you finding that we're dealing with some issues that are coming up with people? Because a lot of this stuff, why is millennial centered in the focus, it can definitely be applied to older people. So where everybody's finding themselves trying to figure out what they're going to do, where things going. Also, if you're in high school, I got a few high schoolers that listen to this, you got to start thinking now. Now, of course, with anything, as I always say, I do have solutions. A lot of people love to say, well, what's your solution? You talk about everything. You this, you that, yada, yada, yada. But your beloved liberals can talk about this stuff all day. You go right on, yeah, I'm a victim and all this type of stuff. But you want me to give you the solution. Then you want to fight me on the solutions that I give you. But guess what? I'm going to still give you the solutions anyway, because you can't say I never gave you those solutions. So given that, number one, as I said before, we got to bring back career education. We got to bring back career planning. Planning is not a bad thing. We have really convinced ourselves that planning is so terrible, it's so horrible, such a waste of time. Excuse me, I got choked. It's such a waste of time. It's not planning that's the waste of time. It's sitting around here doing nothing with these plans, like government. Government will plan forever on things, envision things, study something, have all these meetings, pay all these consultants, then they hire more consultants to consult those consultants. Then they'll restate the plan and look at the flaws and everything. Then they'll do all this stuff to pretend they're doing something and nothing ever happens. That never happens. But you cannot operate like the government, folks. You don't have the power of taxation of force that's to take money for doing nothing. But what you can do is start using common sense. And start saying, okay, what's next? Like if I know I got to start thinking about summer plans, beyond my vacation, what's next? My credit, my health. You got to have a whole plan. Say, this is so much work that you have to do, because you and your body, you may look at yourself, okay, I got to get the stomach down. I got to get my blood pressure under control. I got to get my head, my feet and hands done and stuff. It's a lot of things I got to do, but we got to work all that in. Same thing with our finances. Then we got to look at our financial stuff, like our house finances, our personal finances, our credit, our future, the debts that we have taken on. Then we got to pull out another ledger and look at what's going on with our business. If we have a business, or we have children, the things they do. So we're very complicated people. But everything is all the same. It's common sense. We have to make sure that we're staying on path, doing what we're supposed to do, to make sure that we're not getting lost in the sauce. That's what we do as adults. So by doing that, we know that we're not going to get left behind. It's a lot to do, but guess what? We do this so regular, we don't even feel it. You get your hair cut, you get your manicure, you get your pedicure, you sit there, you pay your bills, you get your paycheck, you pay the credit card bills, you're looking at this thing. Next thing you know, you got systems in place. You have to systemize your life. Once you systemize your life to the point, like I use for example, you start exercising. You know, when you first start, it's like, oh God, I gotta do this. Oh, gotta do this running. Gotta do these push-ups. Gotta do this. Gotta do that. But then after a while, it becomes natural. So, okay, morning exercise is done. Guess what? Morning bills are paid. Guess what? Ate my cereal. Guess what? Now I'm ready to start the day. It's a lot of things that you have to do, but the way how you deal with this stuff, you take it one step at a time. You put your left foot out, put your right foot out, and you have a list. As my boy Errol told me, shout out to him, you know, everything is important, but not everything is urgent. Don't repeat that. Everything is important, but not everything is urgent. What's urgent? What's got to be done right now? What is urgent? That's all the urgent stuff done first. Hey, I know everything is important. What's urgent? What's got to be done? It cannot wait. Then you say, well, everything can't wait. So, okay, now we got to look at what really got to be done the next hour. So, okay, what got to be done the next hour? Or got to be done before we go to bed. Because everything will get done today. So we would like to get it all done, but what can you do? You are the CEO and founder and president, head of the board, or whatever you want to call yourself, of your life. And it's time that you start acting like it. Take your day off. You got to start taking days off, people. I'm taking tomorrow off. I don't care what got to be done. I've already had to give up my Saturday. My goal this week was I'm going to do the show, and then I was going to chill for the rest of the day, but then stuff this week did not get finished. But tomorrow, I'm off. I'm not going no place. I'm not putting on no clothes and all that type of stuff. I'm going to just do what I'm going to do a payroll in the morning. Then I'm going back to bed. I'm not getting up. I don't care what's going on. I'm not saving people. And I told my colleagues, I can't save people tomorrow. I got to give myself a day off. Because they will keep me up all night while they in bed chilling, and I'm sitting over here doing what I got to do with this stuff. It's all about honoring commitment. So much is felt on my desk, on my table, that I have to make sure that I'm catching it, I'm cleaning it, I'm getting it back out there. It's all about being a person of your word. When you're a person of your word, then you have more respect. I don't care if you're not don't worry about being perfect. Just worry about being committed. Worry about seeing it through. It can be regular as all get up, but guess what? You tried and you got it done. It was a commitment to come to this studio today. It's a commitment to go to my office. It's a commitment to go to the gym. It's a commitment to help these people out of Seven Will Help. These are all commitments that got to be done. It's all about following through, being a person of your word. If you got nothing else out of this show today, as you see, I'm not a political hack. You know, I love politics or politics walk, even though I'm that too. I believe everything is always rooted in common sense. Because you can be the scholar, the intellectual in many things, but if you lack common sense, we have nothing else to talk about. There's nothing else for us to talk about. We can sit here and talk about all this stuff that makes no sense, and we're still sitting here where we're at from the get-go. But you know what? Our time here is going to come to an end. It's been a great show today. I thank you for listening. I thank you for coming out hearing us. I am Dominic Huff. You're listening to We the People Radio here on Fusion Radio and our syndicated partners. Until next time, I'll talk to you soon.